Here, I'd like to open the committee meeting. A motion to approve the minutes of previous meeting. Mr. Dickinson, Conover. I know I had a pen here. There it is. No, I got it. Thank you. All right. We have two action agendas. We're only going to do two resolutions. The first resolution, number one, is to go ahead and get the approval to Benchmark was the lowest contracting bidder for our event brochure, and they're going to be dropped right off here when they finish. And they came in under budget.
I'll move it.
Mr. Kenny, Mr. Dickinson. The second one is a Kate request, just to let us know that we have an agreement with L&P Media contract. They have merged with another company called Nexus, and what we need a resolution to is the same owner of L&P that's moving with Nexus, so to keep the contract going under the new name of Nexus, so this was already approved, we just need a resolution to, so when the bills come in under Nexus, we'll be able to take care of them.
I'll move 1 and 2.
1 and 2. We just did 1.
No,
We didn't
vote
vote.
on it, though.
we didn't vote,
We
but
didn't
I'll,
vote on it?
no, but I seconded that motion, and
Okay.
I'll amend it to include 2.
All right, so all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. There's no referrals or pending. First, I'd like to have an executive session, if I can, on a personnel, I'll let you use the wording that you need.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I think from our prior discussion, I think your intent is to discuss the employment history
Right.
of a particular person, and as a result, because you'll be talking about that person, it would be appropriate to go into an executive session, and that would be the only purpose.
All right,
Okay.
Mr. Dickinson, Mr. Kenny, and it won't be long, it'll be brief, I promise.
Yeah, we usually generate it.
Okay, so you'll make a little plaque for her?
Yeah, I'll talk to, what we do is get a certificate and just have it framed.
Okay.
Present it. You wanna do that probably at
The next board meeting in June?
board meeting,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Is your cohort out there yet? Is he coming in?
I wouldn't wait to read that. You never know with him. Oh, here he comes.
Oh, here he comes. All right, let's go. Come on. All right. Thank you for waiting for a few minutes. All right, back to our tourism meeting. As you all know, Kate is leaving at the end of the month. And I've done, I know I will say and I also brought Mr. Dickinson, because I felt I needed a little bit extra help at some of these meetings. But we've been meeting for the last month or so with business people, Chamber of Commerce people, since we heard about Kate. When we take over, and when I say we get back into, I'll use the word control instead of a director of the tourism department come the first week of July, my plan is to get the staff together, a couple hours, even if I have to bring in lunch, and I want to get ideas from them, because I've been, talking to them a little bit, and some of them have some ideas. A lot of them were worried, but I think everything's fine, and we're going to move for the next, we're ready until definite, no problems until January 1st, 2016. Well confident of that. I'm going to step down a little bit and step into that tourism a little bit more. Not that I want to be their leader, but I've been working with tourism for 30 years, and again, like I said, we only had 3 tourism directors in 50 years, so if we bring in another tour, that's my goal first, is talking to the business people, and this is all I'm bringing out, and speak up if I'm going in the wrong track. A lot of the concerns was how we're advertising and how we're doing things. And, it's amazing that we just heard from the treasurer that bed tax is up 7+%, but sales tax isn't. It's just a phenomenal thing to me personally, even the treasurer. And a lot of the business people feel, well, it's only up because they're raising their prices, because we're losing, people coming here, they're not getting the word, which, when I met with some of them and showed them paperwork, that, because what they get is paper, as you all know, when we send out, advertising and people respond, we send them a brochure and information, and we take those names and we send them to all the business people that want them. But we have their website, the email site that we don't send, okay? And we'll get into that, whether we should change it or whether we shouldn't change it down the road, but the reason why we don't send it is because there's 130,000 of them, and I know myself personally, and I don't wanna get into a long thing, but I bought some tires at Sears in October, and they said, well, if you give me your email address, you'll save 2%. So for me, it was dollars and cents, sure, give it. But I got 2 emails every day, 7 days a week. And within a month, they were off. So, and I think that's what we were afraid of, that if a lot of these people get this 130,000 emails, and everybody starts sending people emails, what they're gonna do is get off of our county site. And it'd be hard for us to get it back, because we use that to do all our email blasts and things like that. So, that was one of the things we worked on, and I try to assure them, because they get the paper ads, and a particular hotel, I won't even mention, they're very technology. I mean, it's just stunning. I think a couple of supervisors had gone with us. I know Rachel went, you've been there, Mr. Conover, you've been there. What they have up on the screen is phenomenal. It's all over our heads about technology. So, number one, we did change when we brought Peter Gerard into our tourism. That stepped up our tourism a third in the last couple of years, and you all see what he puts out. You know, it's all a wow all the time. Now we're going June 1st with the trampoline in Glens Falls, and when we had that meeting, oh, shoot, it's just, again, it's even a higher wow over our heads. So we are getting into this state. So what I'm looking and hoping that the committee feels the same as I do, is right now we're gonna stay in a stall position until the first week of July. And then I think we should think about, one of our meetings in July, about maybe contracting a consultant firm that could come in for a couple of months and, you know, look at everything we do, and talk to all the business people, and get around our county, and then come back with a report saying, hey, you guys are doing 90% good, 70% good, or only 50% good, and then from there, we can decide how we'd like to do. But my own personal feeling, and working with tourism, working with that department so long, I'd like to see us down the road, sometime in September maybe, come to a conclusion. This is only my opinion, this is not, I'm not asking for it. Maybe put out an RFP for a tourism director, because I believe fully, all over this country, there's a lot of them, and a lot of knowledgeable people that can run tourism. Maybe we could get lucky, somebody that's working for Disney, let's say, as an assistant or a third person on tourism, and say, you know, I'm not gonna go any higher here, maybe I'll apply for this job and I'd like to move north, or, you know, you never know. I know Bill and I discussed it, he feels he's gotta have somebody from around here that knows our area, but I think a tourism director knows how to promote tourism, you know, and it wouldn't take long to learn our area with all the help that we give them, or the tourism department. So that's what I'd like to see as my follow through for the next 4 or 5 months. I'd like to see Kate leave happily and go. I didn't mean it that way. Oh, excuse me on video. I don't mean to leave. I meant, I didn't get it all out happily. She's done a great job. I mean, she's there 20 years. She's 25 years for the county. She replaced Doris Herrick, that was there for almost 20 years. So, you know, it's been a long time since we really made an on-top change, and maybe it's time to think about it. So, Dennis?
Gene, I'd like personally to thank you for your effort. I know you've put a lot of time into this. I appreciate your inviting me on several of these things. It is a real eye-opener, and I think you're exactly correct in your thoughts about where we should go with this. And I can see that obviously you were paying attention to a lot of these people that are in the business as well as yourself. And that was basically their concern, they'd like to see us, now that we have an opportunity to really, look at where we are and where we should be. And I think getting somebody in here to give us some technical advice is the only way to go. Some of the business people we have in the area are very astute about all the modern technology. I'm always surprised, in my hometown where I grew up, these people that are here that have these tremendous abilities to do things that you never thought about. And, it's very enlightening, and they had a lot of great suggestions, and we've had a lot of good conversation. And I'm sure we will continue with that and keep the business people plugged in. I think that's essential. Make them, to give them an opportunity to speak out, and they've done that. And they've had a lot of good suggestions. One of them is, that with somebody professionally coming in, we'll get a lot of insight about where we are and where we need to go. And there's a lot of great ideas out there. One of them they batted about was taking our existing employees and outsourcing them with somebody that could pull them all together with all their attributes and have a really strong, vibrant, tourism promotional department. So I look forward to doing it, and again, I appreciate all the effort you put into it, Gene, and I'm excited about moving forward. So,
Thank you. Like I said, the business people really stepped up, and they've been talking to us for years, but, the way, for years, they always say, well, give us the money and let us do it, because we know how to do it better. And we've battled that because that's not gonna happen. Most of them now understand, they look at the money, the pot, but they don't understand how that pot is really divvied up, and some goes to towns, some goes to events, some goes, and we pay the whole no money comes out of the budget of Warren County for tourism. It's all paid in an occupancy tax. So we pay all the employees and all their benefits and hiring and all that stuff. So that big pot that's up here, it gets dwindled down to here and what we really spend on tourism. But now with technology, I mean, and with the approval of this group, we did this trampoline thing. It's going to be well worth the money, I think, that we're paying out, and I'm glad we stepped forward in doing it. And these are the things. You might pay a little bit more for technology, but you're going to, like in some of the things that we saw about ads and Reader's Digest, that one stuck in my head terrible, where we advertise in Reader's Digest 10 years in a row for $1,000 each year, but only get 5 or 10 responses. So you're paying $100 for a response. Maybe it's time we get rid of Reader's Digest. That's the stuff that we're moving forward with in technology, and and that's what we got to move. And I'm really, I'm really pumped up about it. I mean, the 2 weeks and plus the other month that we were talking to business people, I think we got a lot of talented people in the area, and if we all work together, even if then another suggestion was have our committee and maybe somebody from the village area business people and somebody from the Glens Falls there to sit at our table, not to sit on the side and be part of our decisions, and they can explain why. I mean, not all of us, know that much about tourism. I mean, I'm in tourism business 31 years. I think I know a lot about tourism, but I still learn every day something new. And even when in my little business went into online reservations, you wake up in the morning, my wife goes to the computer first thing and says, oh, we got 3 reservations over the night while we were sleeping. And to her that makes her happy, but it helps the business. You know what I mean? It's so technology in all aspects in this country, you got to jump on that train. And I think we have jumped on it a little in the last couple of years with Peter. Now we're jumping on it with the trampoline company, but there's still a lot more that a lot of us don't know. I don't think anybody in here knows so much about that. So you got to you get the advice of how to do things from people that really know, and I think it's going to be a good partnership if we move forward, and as long as all you people agree and the administrator agrees. Move forward at this, but I don't want to start until July 1st. And this way, you don't want to make somebody feel that because they're retiring, all of a sudden everybody thinks that they were doing things wrong. And I don't want that. Kate worked hard at what she's doing. I'm proud of what she did. She's always been, she's a private person, and she's a person that likes to just work in the office. And that was another thing that people say, well, they feel it's a 24/7 job being tourism director in a tourism area. And maybe we didn't get that, and that's her business, and so, yeah. Kenny, you had your hand up?
Yeah, I'm all for, bringing in somebody to evaluate the tourism department. I would caution you, however, to leave her position vacant until January first.
Oh, that's what we're doing.
Because the business community might view that as a rudderless ship, you know?
No, but it's not gonna be. It's gonna be vacant, and I'm stepping up saying that I'll be in there every day. And once she leaves, we're gonna make a few little changes in there, and I don't think we're gonna miss one beat. But after January, we are gonna need somebody in there to run the ship, or go outside, if it comes to that, to a company to come in here and run the ship. So those are the decisions we have to make in the next 6 months. Did I say Rachel? Yes?
I just wanna second what Dennis is saying, Gene. I think that it's great to have the board at this position where we're open to change and looking at an innovative way to address the tourism needs in our community. And I love hearing the fact that we're going to look at the business community as well and bring them into the mix and ask them what they're looking for. I know that Don Lehman had the opportunity yesterday or Thursday to see the inter-county meeting, and we're seeing us talk with other counties and how they're using their OCTAX. I know I had an opportunity to speak with Lewis County about that and how they utilize it. And even when we're vacationing, to look at things like down in Myrtle Beach, they're using touch screen, computer screens to do coupons and specials and really using their OCTAX money very creatively. And I think that that's what we're hearing from our community, that they want more of that technology. Kate's done an awesome job. I think you're right, give her that credit. But it's nice to hear that everyone's ready for that change, or at least that sounds like what's happening. So I just wanted to thank you for that open-mindedness and being able to even listen to those of us that aren't sitting at your.
Yeah, no, this is gonna be a whole team effort. And like I say, a couple of things that sometimes, when you can't battle all the time, when a CEO wants to run the ship one way, it's tough. The board might tell him to help do it, but it's gotta be that person to take the advice sometimes, and some people do and some people don't. But the technology part is way above my head, but I'm never gonna learn how to do it, but I'm gonna get involved in how to get it done. That phrase. So, especially with our website, we got 130,000, like I told Mayor, get me a list right away of all your events. That can go out tomorrow. We approved that special $4,000 about 5-6 months ago to be able to do that downstairs without getting it all done and sending it over to IT, and when they got a chance, they stuck it in, which they do a good job, I'm not saying that, but sometimes it took a week to get something out. Now we can do it tomorrow morning if I get that this afternoon. So you got 130,000 people gonna get an email about all that's going on in the Festival of Commons now. It might help people start calling on the phone to make reservations for certain ones that they might like, or, so you gotta use that technology. Any other, questions, anything else? We got nothing else, we passed 2 resolutions, so I appreciate everybody coming, and, yes, sir, I'm sorry.
Mr. Chairman, just a technical, thing, just so we can, on the consultant, we'll have to put out, probably a request for proposals, which means we'll have to put together a scope of services. How, do you want to, I guess there's 2 questions in my mind. One is, I would think the committee might want to take a look at the scope before we put it out, so that everybody's in agreement that we're asking for what we want to get out of this consultant. And the second thing would be the timing of when you want to put this RFP out, and when you'd be like, when you think you would like to get those results back.
Well, that's what I said earlier, let's kinda wait till July 1st.
So you don't want to put it out till July 1st?
No, I think,
I think you're right.
I think we gotta wait till July 1st, when we start anew, let's use that phrase, and then we can,
Do you want to have something prepared
but I think we
for
could, yes,
July 1st?
if everybody wants to,
And send it out, so when you meet, you could
right,
consider it?
yeah, yes, Dennis.
I agree with Gene. I think we got some breathing room here to do it. And I think we should be very cautious about that proposal. I think the key to our success is how we draft that proposal, more so than who we hire. So I think we need to spend some time on that, and I would definitely like to get some input from the business people on
Yeah,
what they think.
that's what I felt, it was just wait a while, because we're not in a hurry. I think we really got the rest of this year covered, and I promise you, I'm gonna be in that tourism office every day, and.
I mean, you don't want then even a draft
Well, if you,
to start with, or no?
I think we should
Nothing
have,
at this point?
well,
I would suggest that perhaps we have a draft ready for our July meeting, and we could take it and look at it, and perhaps come back in August with any revisions.
right, okay, that's.
That would give us sufficient time to make revisions and then advertise, still do interviews, or however we need to proceed, and still give us ample time before the end of the year.
You know, if you have any suggestions, if you email me or the administrator, you know, we can put it all together, and then we can meet, and even if we have 2 meetings in July, that's what I was going for, about the second week, try something, and at the end of the week, our normal meeting, and then we can be ready for August. Yeah, I just don't wanna rush into, you know, I really, you know, we don't need to, like, when Joan Sadie left, you definitely need somebody in Joan Sadie's position, so there was no hesitation, we didn't lose a step, everything's going well as far as I know, but we don't need that right now. I mean, we're set for the fall, we're set for the winter stuff, it's just, and I'll be down in that tourism office, really, and I like to get, I like to get some information from those people also. You know, some ideas, some thoughts of what this person has to look for, and this way, whatever we do and whenever they come in, or if they come in, we got a whole pile of stuff, here's what we're doing, and here's what we want you to look for, so. Any other comments on that? I thank you all, motion adjourned, Mr. Dickinson, Mr. Cano, thank you.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure
Oh,
that
I
we had
understand.
some